to devote more of my time to core parts of our business. In the wake of that move, and as I found my footing as a CEO, I began to concentrate more on our people, treating them according to what I believed them to be, a powerful strategic weapon, one that Kronos hadn't yet fully leveraged. As great as our employees were, we hadn't prioritized the development of our workforce as a key part of our growth strategy. As a result, although our employee engagement scores were above the norm in our industry, we had trouble attracting and retaining the best people. In some parts of our business, our annual employee turnover topped 40%. Although people seemed to like working at Kronos, and although we had a number of longtime employees didn't love Kronos, and they didn't see our organization as a unique and extraordinary place to build a career. That's what we changed, and it's what this book is about. As a new CEO, I felt that we couldn't continue to create great products or deliver great services without attracting and retaining great people. But that in turn would require us to become a better place to work, giving our employees more of what they wanted to be out of an employer. We needed to revamp and expand our human resources function, which at the time lacked foundational processes and technology, not to mention a strong focus and understanding of best practices. Little by little, we would have to work on our culture, making it more caring, trusting, transparent, collaborative, and innovative. How would we pull this off? I didn't have all the answers. In fact, I had very few of them. As a manager and leader, I'd always taken personal satisfaction in creating environments in which people felt motivated to excel. I'd been fortunate enough to be raised by parents who modeled values like caring, honest communication, and trust. So I was inclined as a CEO to build a culture infused with those values. But beyond that, I didn't yet understand what it would take to institutionalize a great culture and create an organization that from top to bottom was a wonderful place to work. What I had at my disposal was primarily a strong drive to treat people well and get the most out of our workforce. The media often celebrated companies that were great places to work. But what was so special about those companies? What did they do that we weren't doing? Why couldn't we be one of them? Our drive to institutionalize a great culture got a boost in 2010 when we hired a seasoned executive with a strong quantitative background as our chief people officer. Many organizations marginalized the human resources function, but soon thereafter we appointed our chief people officer to our executive committee, making it clear that I personally backed what we were doing to create an inspiring and innovative culture. We then took a series of experimental steps to enhance our culture and become a truly unique place to build a career. We did this, to be clear, not because I wanted Kronos to be nice to people, which of course I did, but because I was convinced that focusing on people and culture was the soundest possible business strategy. We had been collecting data on employee engagement for some time, but it had largely been a check-the-box kind of exercise. Now we began to work with engagement more intensely. We performed a quantitative and qualitative analysis of the main drivers of engagement, identifying development and innovation as the biggest factors. And after further refinement, we discovered that manager effectiveness and a feeling of connectedness to the company's mission and strategy were also critical. Then we took action around those drivers to better allow us to attract, develop, manage, and retain top talent. We rolled out a slew of new programs, processes, and benefits that our people wanted, branding them so our employees around the world understood and valued them. We defined and branded our culture itself, calling it WorkInspired, and linking it to 3 core competencies: character, competence, and collaboration. We've since tied these competencies to our business strategy, leadership, performance goals, competency assessments, selection practices, reward and recognition programs.